We're now in here chatting with the cast of Upload Season 3. Allegra and Andy, it's good to see you again. Robbie, this is the first time we've had you on the show. I'm very excited. Thank you for your time, all of you today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. We're happy to be
Yes.
here.
Yes, I know. Me too. I'm thrilled to death. We're doing this in a bit of a reverse way. Normally we talk at the beginning of the season. For obvious reasons, we are now talking at the end of the season. So, Robbie, we'll start with you. We've had episodes already. We've learned a lot about all of your characters and where they are at now. You've played this character now for 3 seasons. What is one thing or maybe a couple things that you have learned about this character? How have they changed from season 1 to, say, season 3 now, outside of the obvious things that have occurred?
Oh boy. I mean, I'm so lucky with this show that Greg and Owen and the rest of our writers kind of they write Nathan in my voice so much that it's just such a familiar character for me to play. I don't know if like Nathan, I mean, Nathan did a lot of growing in the first season. I think season 2 and 3, it's less about, his character arc and more about kind of pushing the story forward and trying to figure out what happened to him and what's going on. But it was really fun to play 2 characters or 2 versions of Nathan, because one of them was kind of like a little bit more like old Nathan, and when one was a little bit more like new Nathan, but they're not that different. I mean, this is a guy who was pretty selfish and didn't really. He wasn't a bad guy, but he didn't take other people's lives into account, or he didn't really care too much about other people when you first met him. And he learns a lot in season 1, and by the end, I think he's a little more of a real human being, even though he's not. He's a AI, or he's a digital version of a person. And I don't know. I think that most of the growing was in season 1, and 2 and 3 were just a little bit more of like who this guy is, and the relationships that he's building, one with Nora and one with Allegra, or with Ingrid.
Yeah, I think it's a very fantastic way to put it. It's been fun watching these episodes. And again, I'm just thrilled to be able to talk about it and to talk to all of you, because I think we've just grown to love all of your characters. Allegra, I mean, the same question would be for you. I know we've talked several times, all 3 seasons, about this show, but for you, like, your character has obviously grown a lot too. What is maybe 1 or 2 changes that your character has experienced since we first met her in season 1?
She's gone through a lot. It's pretty life-changing to grow a head back onto a body and then have that whole body date your rival, even though you've invested so much time and money into making a clone. That's a lot for someone to go through.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Everybody knows what that's like. And but yeah, I think the sweetest, juiciest thing for me experiencing through Ingrid is this exploration of truth. What does it mean to just decide you're going to stick with someone or something, and then kind of reckon with yourself, like, all right, what is it going to take for me internally to stay committed? And I just love that she's exploring what honesty means, either in trying to lie but failing, or choosing to confess and seeing what the consequences are. And I think she's learning for the first time what actual intimacy is about. And that's being vulnerable and being real. And that's scary territory for Ingrid, but also, like I said, really juicy too.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe it. I think for me, it's just been a joy watching this series unfold over the past 3 seasons. Here's to another season, hopefully. I think, we all want to see everybody succeed. And we all find ourselves rooting for all of your characters, in spite of maybe decisions that may or may not be made throughout the course of the story, because we want to see everybody win. And Greg Daniels said that in our first interview with him. Like, he always wanted to do another love story. He always wanted to tell a story that had a really positive arc, but also allowed you to get to know all your characters. Andy, it's been fun too. We've spoken all 3 seasons now to you about this story. the same question would apply. What is one thing in particular that you feel and where you've seen your character grow the most from season 1 to say season 3?
I think this season she really stepped into her power and ownership of, okay, what's my purpose? I think over the seasons, Nora's really come into her own and really embracing and exploring her activist side. And this season, I think there was just a different kind of ownership of it. And, fueled by love. I think Nora really comes from a place of love and the love of people, around her in her life that she wants to take care of. And this season, I think it really manifested in the way of like, okay, how do I own that and take, I don't know, take a bigger step into what my voice is and what I am here to do. I think it was just like she really stepped into her purpose in this season.
Yeah, very well said, all of you. Well, one last question, Robbie, back to you. You've all had great projects that you've been a part of, present company included with Upload. Is there one thing that's important to you as a storyteller that you have to see to go, okay, this is something that I want to commit my time to as an actor?
I mean, look, the honest answer is there's like a little checklist, and there's
Sure.
good reasons and bad reasons. If the check's big enough, that can be a reason. But
that's a fair answer. I love it.
That's normally the last reason. My main thing is I always want, like, any project can turn out good or turn out bad. It's making a movie or a TV show is very hard. There's a lot of moving parts, and something you think can be great can turn out not so great. Something you think is okay can turn out great. So I want anybody that looks at something I've done to think, oh, that's why he did that. Whether it's a great script or a great producer or a great writer or a great director or a great cast or a character I've never played before. So there's definitely no single thing, but I find myself gravitating mostly to, if I read the script and I like it, that's step one. If I read the script and it's tough to get through, you're kind of at an uphill battle right away.
I love it. Yeah. And if it's tough for you, it probably might be tough for the audience too, I think. And so that's great. Allegra, same for you.
Yes and no, because it's also subjective, right? So
that's true.
I will always ask other people, if I read something and I'm like, maybe this just isn't for me, I'll ask someone else to read it, whether it's my wife or my manager or one of my best friends, to be like, do you get this?
I love it.
Yeah.
Allegra, for you too, and Andy as well.
I think that's a great question. And if I could distill it to like a kind of a simple answer, it would be that something about it surprises me. And that could be any number of things, but in the reading of it, if I like kind of like what Robbie was saying, if we're reading a lot of scripts and I'm getting ahead of it and I can see where it's going 5 pages before it gets there, that's an instant, no, thank you. I think this might be for somebody else. But if it surprises me either in the plot, in the dialogue, in the humor, in the theme, in a twist, in a, I don't know, or even in a filmmaker, or a conversation that I have, then that's something I'm interested in. And I think a lot of that also has to do with how the women are written and how they speak and what they're talking about and who they're talking to. And yeah, I'm at a stage where an Ingrid adjacent character might not be at face value as interesting to me, but never say never, because you never know.
Yeah, that's very true. And as we wrap, Andy, with you, I know you've done a lot of different things, obviously, but this one's a big one for sure. Like, what's important to you as a storyteller?
I mean, seconding everything Robbie and Allegra said, and maybe it's almost the same answer, just different words. But I think for me, what's become important is this fun? And remembering play has become a priority. I mean, you know, we get to do something that we really love, but it's become a job. You know, we
Yeah.
show up and we, you know, it's work. And I think for me, it's remembering, where's the play, where's the fun in this? I don't want to go to set and be like, oh my God, like get me out of here. So if I'm reading something, like I'm checking for that little spark or that thing that says, ooh, okay, this would be fun. This would be fun. And also what might be a challenge. Maybe it's not, that's not going to be fun, maybe, but
Yeah, those don't go together.
That's not really fun. But
No,
will this be a
trust me.
challenge? You know, is this something that I haven't done before? You know, yeah, is it different than other characters I've played? Will it stretch me? And so I think it's those two things that I'm looking for.
Yes. Well, congratulations to all of you. This is fantastic. Again, a bit of a reverse conversation. We're at the end of the season now. We have a couple episodes left on Prime Video. I can't wait to see how everything turns out. Congratulations to all of you on many different levels, especially being able to be here today and to promote and to talk about this project. You all are so talented, and it's been an honor. Thank you, Robbie, Andy, and Allegra, for your time. I appreciate it as always.
Thanks so much, Brett.
Thanks, Brett.
Good to talk to
Thanks,
you.
everybody. It was
you.
good to see you too.